I think the last time I saw you in person, actually, that night, I actually cried. And bro, I mean,
you weren't the only one crying. I'll tell you that much.
Sick to my stomach, man. Sick to my stomach. You guys are coming out here this week, right?
Yep, we're flying over Thursday night, which will be cool. Excited about it. Have a good time over there. Hopefully get a win and get things back on track. But I'm ready to get out of the country, man. With COVID and everything, we've been cooped up, so it'll feel good to get on the road a little bit.
How's this been for you, man? This transition this year with Arthur Smith, the new head coach coming along. Like, how's this been for you? Was this your 14th year now?
Yeah, 14. It's tough. I mean, there's different routine, different structure to the week, meetings at different times. You get very, how it is. You get very set in your ways, and you kind of get used to your routine. So that part's been taking some getting used to. But it's kind of nice. The older you get, like a refresh in the system and, kind of a new weekly routine and the days being different, learning some new things. I feel like it makes you feel younger because, there's so many new things. So I've liked that part of it.
Matt, where does your nickname come from, man? I've always wanted to ask you where Matty Ice comes from because, I'm over here in England. I'm like, Matty Ice this, Matty Ice that, but I don't think people truly know where that name comes from. Can you explain to us a little bit?
I just started when I was in high school, and there's a beer over here called Matty Ice. And, for no other reason than the people thought it was cool that they had this beer or whatever. I didn't really do anything, but they just called me Matty Ice because the beer was Matty Ice, and it stuck. Yeah. And so, it's been around for a long time. It's a pretty good nickname, though. It's been around for a long time, and people are into it.
It's awesome, man. When I say it, I do this. I'm like, Matty Ice. He's got ice.
Right in the veins.
It's something I wanted to ask you. I think one of my favorite memories of being in Atlanta, being with the Falcons, being with you guys, being with that team, I remember sitting on the back of the plane and, I would see you sitting there. It'd be you, it'd be Tony Gonzalez, the Hall of Famer, Roddy White, Harry Douglas, Julio. Like, these were like your boys. And I remember watching that bond you guys had. Like, you were so close, and it was so awesome to watch that. But now I'm looking at you, Matt, and they're all gone, bro. It's like you're there by yourself. Like, how does that feel, man?
It's strange. It really is. You sit in the back of that plane now, and it's a different cast of characters, and you try and develop these relationships with some of the new guys and get, on that same page. But I do look back to that time. It was a unique group, it really was. I mean, you had Hall of Famers that you just mentioned, sitting back there on the plane. But as you can attest to, there were no egos. The guy, you know what I mean? Like everybody was just one of the guys, and that part of it was really cool. I miss those guys for sure, but I'm starting to develop that with some of the guys we have here. Hopefully I can play long enough that the relationships with these guys become like that.
Julio Jones, man. I know that must have been like somebody punched you dead in your stomach when that guy got out of there. Like, what was going through your mind when you were hearing about all these rumors? And then when he did leave, like, what was that conversation like? How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, Julio's, I've said it, I think he's probably impacted my career more significantly than any other person, right? Player or coach. I played with him for 10 years. I just knew his body language. I knew how he was going to do things. I just, you have a comfort level with a guy when you've done it, for that long. And, he was an amazing player, just an absolute stud. So, you had that luxury that regardless of if they double covered him or, tried to take him out of the game, you could still throw it up to him and he was going to make plays. But I know for him, it was, he felt like it was time for him. He wanted a different chapter in his life, something new. And as a friend of his, and, the professional side of me misses him, but the personal side of it, I'm happy for him. I think it's what he wanted. And, I'm pulling for him always. He's a teammate for me for life and wishing him the best in Tennessee.
So now 14 seasons on. And I think when people people outside of Atlanta, I don't think they truly understand the type of person you are. Like, you are a leader. Like, you're like the guy in the locker room. The team rallies around you. The team, so to speak, goes the way you go. And, you know, when I was in New York, you know, everybody knew you were a great quarterback. But only when I came to Atlanta did I start to understand the type of person you are, right? But here's the thing, Matt. I don't think people really give you the credit that you deserve. Like, 14 seasons now, I would say out of 13 of those seasons, you've been a top 5 quarterback. But I don't think people really talk about that enough. Why do you think that is, man? And how do you feel about that situation, man?
Yeah, I mean, I don't worry about it too much. I think the biggest thing is it's about championships, you know, and at the position I play, you know, whether it's right or wrong, it's just that is the way it's perceived. And so I think that narrative changes when we put one of those rings on the finger, and that's what we got to keep, you know, working towards. But I think I know what I'm capable of. I know I'm confident in my abilities. You know, week in and week out, I know I can, you know, go out and get the job done regardless of who we're playing. But I do think it's about championships, and I think if you end up winning some championships, it definitely changes the narrative.
Speaking of that, I think the last time I saw you in person, actually, that night, I actually cried. And bro, I mean,
you weren't the only one crying. I'll tell you that much.
sick to my stomach, man. Sick to my stomach. You know, and how did you go about rebounding from that? Because you've had some outstanding seasons since then. But like, as a team, like, how do you feel like the team rebounded from that situation?
Yeah, it was tough. You know, losing the Super Bowl and kind of the way, you know, it went down, it was just, you know, it was heartbreaking. And I thought the team the following year actually rebounded pretty well. You know, we got ourselves into the playoffs. We had a really good regular season. We played well. We won our first playoff game and then went and played the Eagles, who ended up winning the Super Bowl that year and took them down to the wire, had chances. So I thought the rebound was pretty good. Then things changed so quickly. And a lot of the guys that were on that team are no longer here, you know, and you got different guys coming in. So the remnants of that, they're not really here with our current players. You know, it's only, you know, myself and Grady Jarrett and Deion Jones and Jake Matthews. There's 4 guys in the locker room that, you know, were a part of that. And the rest of these guys,
crazy,
man,
right?
It's amazing how quick it happens.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I think this current group that we have is young, you know, and so they don't really know much about that other than seeing it from an outside perspective.
Yeah. Well, you guys are coming out here to London. Matt, listen, just besides being a great quarterback, man, I just have so much respect for you, man. You're just such a great guy. I remember the last time I got into a fight, I think it was, and you came into the locker room. You were like, Osi, I didn't even know you had that in you, bro.
Hey, man, that was I knew you were tough. I got hit by you plenty of times when you were in New York, but I didn't see that part of it. And you got out there. I said, okay, all right, I like it.
Oh man, listen, Matt, we appreciate you, man. I can't wait to see you this weekend. Much love. Thanks for coming out here. And listen, you guys are doing great, man. You had a great game. You're playing great. I can't wait to see you, man. Keep on balling, bro.
Thanks, Osi. I appreciate it, man. Look forward to seeing you.
Yes, sir.